our next speaker, Shawn Stevenson, US Today national best-selling book, Eat Smarter, and international best-selling Sleep Smarter, and creator of the Model Health Show. He has the #1 featured as #1 health podcast with millions of listeners downloads each year, right? And so Shawn, he's been featured in all this Forbes, Fast Company, New York Times, and just is an incredible thought leader in the space of health. All right, what's up, Shawn?
Hey, how's it going?
It's flowing, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I love the energy.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so grateful you joining us and sharing your expertise and your knowledge and your wisdom. We're very grateful to have you here. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Where are you tuning in from?
I am a transplant from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm in LA right now. We just moved here about a year ago. So just in time for a lot of change.
Welcome to LA. I actually grew up in LA. I'm down in San Diego right now, but grew up in LA, and welcome to the West Coast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, with all the, as you mentioned, transformation, with all that's happened in 2020 and people having fear, doubt, uncertainty, right? What message of hope would you like to share with people?
Such a great question. And, obviously the world it's fluxed up. There's a lot of flux happening right now. And the most important news about all of this that's happening in the world is that there were a lot of things just kind of festering underneath the surface. So many different things that were going unaddressed that are now getting risen up for us to really look at them. Many of us, especially if we've done a lot of work on ourselves and just connecting with empowered communities, we could tend to get a little bit of a tunnel vision and think that the world around us is at another level. And I think a lot of people felt that when all of this stuff started to take place, that we were better than this. Like we should be responding better. We should be connecting better. We should be having better conversations, but that's not what took place. We are better than this, but we don't realize it yet. Many of us have been indoctrinated into a certain way of thinking for our entire lives. And so when the stuff hits the fan, we respond by jumping right back into more of our primitive thinking. And what we have to do now is take a look at what is the opportunity here? How do we change that so we can even have more empowered conversations? And so a couple of quick things here for me is seeing we've been going business as usual with our healthcare system. And the healthcare system that we currently have is absolutely terrible. It's the third leading cause of death in the United States is our medical system. And anybody can look it up. It's Johns Hopkins, study. We have to have some change. We have to have conversations about it. Our education system, we're still we're training our children for a world that no longer exists. Enough is enough. This brings it to the surface so we can look at it. Education has been so shaken up that now, like we could see, okay, we can actually change education in a snap. Another thing, our workforce and the way that we've invested our life energy. Many of us spend half of our lives essentially working. And we've been trained by our education system to go into jobs that many of us are suffering in and creating such an overwhelming, overriding experience of unhappiness and not being connected to our purpose. Enough is enough. This gives us an opportunity to get clarity on what we really want and actually put things into place for it to change because the systems are so much in flux right now.
So wise. I love the share. What would you say to someone who's feeling stuck right now, who's feeling in that obstacle, and they're wanting to change, they're wanting to transform, but they're just holding on to the past? What would you say to that?
Yeah, for me, the #1 thing is always exposure and getting yourself, because it's easy. I think some of the greatest that we look to, we read their books, we listen to their lectures. They're just good at remembering. They're good at remembering how powerful we really are. And we have those moments of experience where we know it. However, even the best, and I know many of the most successful people walking around, and they have those times when they kind of get off, they feel it's because it's a lot to deal with. But what reminds them is that exposure to the beloved community, exposure to empowering ideas, because you've got access to it all. But right now, it's much easier to be inundated by negativity and all the bad that there is. But simultaneously, there's so much love happening. There's so much giving happening. There's so much support. There's so much growth and development taking place right now. Problems are being solved every single microsecond, but that's not getting the headlines. You have to plug yourself in every day to what gives you exposure to those things that keep you uplifted, that remind you how powerful you are. And do not allow yourself to be cut adrift right now, because the thing is, and the catch is, you're already connected to it. You're connected to all the good, but sometimes we need a little bit of a reminder. We got to kind of brush off the static on the line, clear up the static on the line, just so we remember that we're tapped into infinite potential. We're tapped into infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, infinite success. It's all right here and it's tangible. And so just getting yourself, like, being a part of this right now, it's a powerful reminder that you are powerful to affect change, not just in your own life, but how much you can affect the entire world.
Beautiful, man. Like taking ownership of yourself, taking ownership of your life. And what comes up for me as you sharing that is the high vibe tribe.
Yeah.
Like a building, like being part of a community that's like helping to co-elevate and co-create together, just like what we're doing right now. And I want to ask you about health regarding, like, because there are people out there where their 30-day outcome is, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 15 pounds, I want to lose weight, or I want to get more energy. What would you say to those people? What advice would you suggest?
Yes. So it's the same underlying principle. The results are there. They're possible. You're already connected to it. But unfortunately, again, the way that our systems have been in place, our principles around what it takes to be a healthy, sovereign human being has been very skewed. And I say this not from some superficial idea. I say this from, look at the evidence. Over 80% of the folks these are good people, smart people who are taking action to follow a model of weight loss, right? Expend more calories than you take in to lose weight. And over 80% of them struggle and fail. And not only that, gain more weight as an outcome. In my nutritional science classes, when I was in college, my teacher taught me this day one. If we can manage calories, we can manage health, we can manage your body composition. But unfortunately, he was overweight. He was struggling with his own weight. He was teaching the principles that he believed, but he felt like he was just doing it wrong. He needed to do it harder. He just needed more, fiber. He just needed to follow the food, because I was in school with the food pyramid. He just needed more of the pyramid, and then he'll make his way. But here's the truth. And this brings us back to the most important point again today. You have a unique metabolic fingerprint. No one is like you that's ever existed before in human history. And no one will ever be just like you in all the generations to come. And here's the big catch. Even yourself right now, your metabolism is not going to be the same next week. It's going to be different. Health is fluid, and it's something that's always changing and it's always in flux. This is why something that might have worked 20 years ago doesn't work now. You are different. Your hormones are different. Everything about you is different. Your mitochondria is different. Everything about you is constantly changing and in flux. And what we have to do to actually solve this issue and not go on some, new year, new me, I'm going to transform my body, but for real, like new year, new you, and change this for the good. We have to learn finally how your body actually works. How does the process of fat loss work? Where does the fat go? Right? Does it go to a quantum realm? Like, this is what I've been working to do. I've been in this space for about 20 years now. And my recent book, it just came out December 29th, and it became the #1 national bestseller in the US in health. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I expected this, because we're putting the power back into people's hands. Whereas the publishing industry, agents, all those things, they'll tell me without saying, and I want you guys to know this, without saying the word, sometimes they'll tell me that we're not smart enough. People aren't smart enough to know how it works. Just tell them what to eat. And I stood my ground. I had to really fight, because we are smart enough. And the complexity is unnecessary. And it's a lot of these things are created. Some of the most incredible double-blind placebo-controlled trials written by academics for other academics. It takes sometimes 17 years for us to have proof of the effectiveness of some kind of metric with real food before it's in clinical practice. And that's unacceptable. So I'm taking the complexities over 500 peer-reviewed studies that I went through and put it in a way that makes sense so that you walk away each chapter feeling like I know how this process works. And I can start to pay attention to what I need and not what this diet tells me I need. Because I might be eliminating a food that my ancestors have eaten for centuries that's protecting my gut, my microbiome from issues with leaky gut, or, it's protecting me against arthritis, or because this diet doesn't prescribe to that, so it's giving us some more intelligence to understand how this stuff works. So that's my mandate for everybody this year. Learn how it works. No more like I'm just going to throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. Let's get educated on our incredible bodies that we live in. We finally have a bit of an owner's manual as to how it all works, and it doesn't have to be hard, but we have to stop doing the thing that doesn't work, right? That's the Einstein quote everybody throws around, the definition of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's insanity. 2021 is the time to get radically sane.
Yeah.
That's the mission.
2021 to get radically sane. Boom. Amazing share, Shawn. Like, I feel so grateful that our viewers who are tuning in are able to hear you share such powerful wisdom about our own bodies, our own health, And I'm just so honored. And look, put into the chat if you have learned something from what Shawn just shared. Go ahead and put into the chat, as Shawn is going to be giving out. You have a gift. You have two gifts, giving out a signed copy of his book, Sleep Smarter, and a signed copy of his book, Eat Smarter. So let's give it up for Shawn. All right, so Shawn, I'm going to go ahead, and what we're doing is we're streaming on Streamlabs, so we're going to pick a winner at random. And let's do this. Cecilia Hernandez. Congratulations, Cecilia. Yay! All right, and one more. So for the Sleep Smarter, let's do another one. Here we go. Mommy Jerose. Congratulations, Mommy Jerose. Woo! Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Shawn. I know me personally, like health, when I had a health breakthrough about like this, I was meditating off the coast of Koh Samui, and just like open-eyed meditation, watching the sunset, and a voice just popped out, you need to love yourself more. And I am deeply honored by healers and transformational speakers as yourself, thought leaders, sharing your message and impacting the world and making a difference. I'm really grateful for you. So thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you. It's my honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And is there anything else you'd like to share as we wrap up here for our viewers? Oh, yes. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and put his at Shawn Model. At Shawn Model. Let's give let's follow him on Instagram at Shawn Model. Okay? And check out his themodelhealthshow.com as well. Thank you again so much, Shawn. Is there anything else?
I mean, I just point right back to immersion. Keep yourself connected to people, to messages that remind you of your greatness. This is a time right now more than ever because you have access to it. And it is always there for us to tap back in to remember how powerful we are. So I'll just leave it with that. But there's one thing, there's an idea about something, then there's execution. So just make it a part of your daily nutrition, is to get some nutrition, some real good nutrition for your soul. And I appreciate you guys for having me.
Nutrition for the soul. Boom. Thank you so much, Shawn. I appreciate you. And flow on. Thank you, Shawn.